Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have with us Joel Mccleoud. He is a mindset and business consultant, helps entrepreneurs and leaders reprogram their subconscious mind and upgrade their self image to unlock higher levels of performance and results. And we'll be exploring with him why real change starts at the paradigm level, how the law of vibration influences business results, and how to make success feel natural rather than forced. Welcome to the show, Joel.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much, AJ. It's great to be
You
here.
are welcome. Welcome to the show, Joel. Welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll talk about how one can, change this thing about
Mm.
results, why results repeat the subconscious code. And we'll talk about all this. But before that, let's talk a bit about your journey, your background, so that people know who they are listening to.
Yeah, for sure. So, hello everyone. I'm Joel Mccleoud. I'm 28 years old, and I'm from Manchester. You might know it from the football teams, Manchester United and Manchester City. I grew up in a council estate. In America, you would call it the projects, right? So, no one around me worked. No one really spoke about money. Money was this kind of like taboo subject, and I was surrounded by the wrong influences at a very early age. So at 13, I was getting up to no good. I got kicked out of school. So I've not been to school. I've had no formal education since 13. And when I was 20 years old, for some reason, I don't know why, I just started picking up books. I just started reading books. The first book I ever read was Rich Dad Poor Dad. And then I came across this book by Napoleon Hill called Think and Grow Rich. And I started reading it, AJ, and I'd never heard anyone speak this way before. And when I first was reading it, your thoughts become things. I was like, that's crazy. How do your thoughts become things? But I kept reading it. I kept reading it and I kept reading it. And then I came across a man on YouTube called Bob Proctor. He was dressed well, he was shouting at the camera, you can do anything, you can have anything that you want. And for some reason, it fascinated me. So I kept listening to Bob, I kept reading Think and Grow Rich. And then I decided to reach out to Bob Proctor's team. So I went onto his website, I put my full name in, my email address, my phone number, and this guy rang me. And I knew this information, but I just wasn't getting results. And my partner at the time, I have two children, and she was paying the rent. As a man, I wanted to be able to provide for her, provide for my children, travel with my children, take them places like Dubai and Disneyland. So I reached out for help, and he told me about this mentorship that I could go through. I didn't have the money for it, but he taught me you don't need the money until you make a decision. So I made the decision. I managed to come up with a few £1,000 to join the mentorship. And then he really started teaching me about goals. First thing he got me to do was write my goal, what I wanted, on a goal card and start carrying it with me. And I put on the goal card, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have turned my yearly income into a monthly income. I didn't believe I could do that, but I was listening to what my mentor told me. I had no business experience, no sales experience, but 5.5 months into the mentorship, I went from £15,000 a year to over £18,000 a month, and the results were crazy. So here I am in Disneyland with my kids, in Dubai with my kids. I'm experiencing the life that I always dreamed of. And then when I was in Dubai, I kind of had this voice inside of me say, go and work with Bob, you know, go and help people experience what you're experiencing. So I rang Proctor's company again. I asked how I could teach it. And they told me I could become a certified consultant. I've got to go through extensive training, make sure that I understand the program and I can get my clients results. And that was about 18 months ago. And now I'm top 1% of Bob Proctor's consultants worldwide. So it's been a fun journey, AJ.
Absolutely, absolutely, Joel. So, what do you want to tell the world? Do you want to tell them about money, or do you want to tell them about success? What is it that you tell them?
Well, money is the result of success. That's something that I found, right? The people that earn the most, they serve the most. The people that earn the most money, they serve the most amount of people. So I know if I want to earn more money, then I've got to go and serve more people. But what most people do is they look at the fire and they say to the stove, they say, give me heat. But the stove's not going to give us heat until we put the wood in first. So I think the wrong thing to think is, how do I earn more money? And I think the right question is, how do I serve more people? Because there's a law of the universe called the law of receiving, which says if we want to receive something, we must first give. And there's a great story about a husband and wife. They moved to a new area. And after a few months, the husband seen that the wife wasn't happy. And the husband said to the wife, like, darling, like, why are you not happy? Have you not gone and, tried speaking or making friends with the neighbors? And the wife said, no, I don't think, any of them like me. They walk past me and they don't smile. And he sat back and he thought about it. And he said to her, have you tried smiling at them? So we need to give before we receive, right? And a big part of that is changing the subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind controls our vibration, and it's the vibration that our body's in that dictates our actions and also controls what we attract as well.
Absolutely. So, Joel, what is it that make people succeed? What is it that you were not doing correctly earlier on to learning from Bob Proctor?
Yeah.
And what is it that you learned there? I want to understand from a common person's perspective, to understand from your understanding
Yeah.
and learn from and implement those things in their own lives. Not everyone would be able to get direct coaching from Proctor or even from you, but maybe learn something from a podcast show like this.
Yeah. Well, what changed for me is my paradigm changed. Yeah, my paradigm changed. So when we think of the paradigm, it's just lots of ideas that are fixed inside our subconscious mind, right? So in other words, it's our belief system. So people, I'm assuming India's quite like, where I grew up, where not a lot of, people have money and stuff. Well, those ideas around money, they get pushed into our subconscious mind at a very early age. So what we've got to do is we've got to change the paradigm. The paradigm is just lots of habits and ideas that are fixed inside your subconscious mind. The only reliable way, there's two ways to change your paradigm. One's through an emotional impact. So something like 9/11, or something like that. They're usually negative and they're also out of our control. The second and most reliable way to change your paradigm is through repetition. It's repetition. A lot of people want to read they want to read 1,000 books. I mean, look how many books I've got. Not many, because I read the same book over and over again. I read Think and Grow Rich over and over and over again, because I'm not reading it for information. I'm going to keep reading the same thing until I am doing what the author's telling me to do. So a great tool, what I get all my clients to do, is you take a pen, take a piece of paper, and you write down in present tense exactly what you want in present tense. So I'm so happy and grateful now that I am making 10,000 a month, 20,000, whatever it is you want. Go as big as you want, right? Now we put it on a card and we carry it everywhere with us. Why? Because it's the repetition. It's the repetition of that idea over and over and over again that's going to reprogram your subconscious mind. And the reason that we can do this is because our subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between what's real and what's imagined. That's why if I close my eyes and I think about eating a big juicy cheeseburger, right? There is no cheeseburger. My subconscious mind believes there is, and it produces saliva within my mouth, but there's no cheeseburger. Well, our subconscious mind cannot tell if there's a cheeseburger that you're imagining or if there's a real cheeseburger. So you want to do the same thing with your goal. Now, once your subconscious mind accepts your goal, your subconscious mind controls your vibration. That's why Albert Einstein said everything in this universe is energy. And that's all there is to it. If you match the frequency of the reality that you want, then you cannot help but get that reality. He said, this is not philosophy, this is physics. So we match the frequency of the reality that we want by constantly thinking about it. We're rather thinking about two things all the time. We're thinking about what we want, or we're thinking about what we don't want. That's why if someone comes to me and tells me that their goal's to get out of debt, it's the worst goal that they can ever have, because they're thinking debt, they're going to be attracting debt. We've got to start thinking prosperity, health, abundance, love, and opulence.
Absolutely, absolutely. So why is it people are, in a way controlled, or they keep on listening to their subconscious mind from long time? I think as soon as they get that to that stage. And how do we know that those things are, wrong or right? It is like, whatever if I understand what you mean is that any stage in time, as per the goal, you rewire your subconscious mind, and then that will help you achieve your goal. What's wrong with the original subconscious mind, Joy?
That's a great question, right? So I have an iPhone, okay? The people that built the programming for this iPhone were geniuses. Would you agree? They done an amazing job. Well, unfortunately, the people that built the programming, the software for us, as much as we love them, our parents, our aunties, our uncles, we loved them, they had no clue what they was doing. You know, they put things into us like, if you go outside with wet hair in the cold, it will make you catch a cold. No, it won't. But if you believe it will, it will. Don't sleep too close to the fan because it will give you a cold. No, it won't. But if you believe it will, then it will. So the reason is that our parents and the people around us, they just didn't know what they was doing. They was operating with what they thought was right for us. Money's the root of all evil. You've got to be really smart to earn lots of money. I earn lots and lots and lots of money, and I am not smart. I got kicked out of school at 13. So what's wrong with it? And this isn't everyone, but it's 97% of the population, is their parents had negative beliefs around money, around relationships. So our parents, they impress those ideas onto our subconscious mind. And then we grow up as adults and we still carry those beliefs around. We're literally programmed as soon as we come into the world. You're Indian. You probably enjoy Indian food. You only enjoy Indian food because your parents did, and your grandparents did, and your great-grand. I'm half Jamaican. I enjoy Jamaican food because my dad did, my granddad did, my great granddad did. So these things are passed down from generation to generation. And if we don't break that cycle, we're just going to repeat what our parents did. And 1% of the population earn 96% of the money.
Absolutely. So, Joel, a lot of people, whatever their background is, think about success. Nothing wrong with that. And they want to achieve success. They put that into their subconscious mind. You know, why is it that they don't achieve success in spite of talking about success, in spite of thinking about success, in spite of keeping success as their goal? And
Because
later on they have to rewire and understand about success. Where is it that they are going wrong?
they're not thinking about success. Just because someone talks about success, they're not thinking it. We we become what we think about. Like we have all these different religions, but if we look at all the wise men, Jesus, Buddha, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, all these wise men, they disagreed on pretty much everything in life apart from one thing. And that one thing, pardon me, is that we become what we think about. Okay. So the outside world is showing you what's going on inside. If you was to only think about success, your outside world has to show it. If your outside world is showing poverty, you are thinking poverty. You might be able to trick people by saying, no, I think about success. Your results always tell the truth. Men lie, women lie, your results never lie. If you're struggling for money on the outside, it's because you've got negative conversations with money inside. Because whatever is impressed, it has to be expressed. That's very important for the people watching this. I'd write that down. Whatever is impressed, it will be expressed. So if 70% of your thoughts throughout the day are, I am abundant, I am a magnet to money, I am prosperous, I am an amazing human being, I always attract expected and unexpected income, I'm the best at what I do. If that was your inner talking, we become what we think about. You would start to see it in your outside world. What really changed the game for me though was mentorship. Just because I was doing it on my own and I'd get so far and then I'd quit and then I'd start again and I'd quit, and I was just gathering all of this information and not seeing results. So what really changed for me was mentorship, because it's not just about information and knowledge. It's about accountability, implementation, and environment. I'm only going off my experience though. My results didn't change until I got a mentor, and I kind of see it like driving, right? Like when we want to learn how to drive, we don't just get in a car and try and drive. Like we'd crash it, it wouldn't be good. No, we pay someone, a driving instructor. We sit with the driving instructor. They show us what to do. Then it's our turn to try it, and then eventually we can do it on our own. I believe money works the same way. Yeah, but if someone is saying I'm thinking about success and it's not working, they're not really thinking about success.
Absolutely. So, Joel, a lot of people at the same time want money, ask for money. A businessman wants money, more
Hmm.
profit. Anyone else also wants money. A beggar also wants money. They are all talking about money at the same time. A businessman perhaps had more chances of getting money, profit, because they are working. A beggar is also talking about money and thinking about money all the time. Why is it that a beggar doesn't get it, but somebody else through his actions? So is subconscious mind more important, or here the efforts are more important?
Because the beggar sees themselves as a beggar. The businessman sees himself as a businessman. So it's about self-image, right? I perceive myself as the best consultant that Bob Proctor's company's ever seen, right? If I perceive myself as poor, as a beggar, then we can't outperform that image. You know, if I see myself as a successful businessman, an amazing father, an amazing person, then the outside world is going to start to reflect that, right? So it's not about just wanting more money, it's expecting more money to come. A beggar doesn't expect more money to come. You know, they're not in harmony with money, and also they see themselves as someone who doesn't have money. So in that case, the whole image of them has to change. They've got to start to see themselves as successful before the success comes. And that's where faith comes into play, right? Faith is the ability to see the invisible, to believe in the incredible, and that's going to permit you to receive what the masses call impossible. So you've got to stop going by your senses, and you've got to start using these higher faculties that God has blessed us with. We have imagination, intuition, memory, reason, perception, and our will. So even though your outside world might be telling you, I don't have money, I don't know where food's going to come from, you cannot let that control your thinking. You've got to go, I am successful, I am rich. You've got to be delusional in a way. Don't let the outside world control your thinking. Get your thinking to control your outside world. So a beggar doesn't believe themselves, They don't believe they're worthy of money, and that's why they've never got any.
Absolutely. What's People want to be practical. A lot of people want to think what is practical from that point of view. Nothing wrong
Mhm.
with that also. And a lot of people want to think something which they are not at present. That's the way perhaps sometimes it works. How would you differentiate between somebody who is reprogramming his or her subconscious mind or someone who is delusional, not looking at the practical aspect of life?
That's a great question. Well, you've got to take action. You've got to take action. You can't just think you can visualize in bed all day and the money's going to fall in your lap. I'm taking action right now. I'm on your podcast. I'm being of service. And I know through some channel, what I'm giving right now, it has to return to me, right? So I'm massive on action. We've got to get the right balance. This is what we call praxis. Praxis is the integration of your belief with your behavior. Okay. So it's delusional to say, okay, next year I'm going to make £1 million a week, but then our actions, our habits stay the same, right? We can't visualize in bed all day being in fantastic shape and not actually get up and go to the gym. So our thoughts attract things to us, but it's through our actions that we receive it. So we've got to believe we're worthy of this money. We've got to believe that we're a successful businessman, but then we've also got to start behaving like it. So how does a successful businessman or woman dress? How do they smell? How do they show up on sales calls? How do they talk? How do they shake a person's hand? And then you've got to become that version. You've got to start acting as if you're already that man or already that woman. And what I get my clients to do, and I'd suggest them doing it, it will change your life forever, is you write out a self-image script. So the program I take people through Thinking into Results, lesson 6 is all about self-image. And what I do with my clients is you write out a detailed description in present tense of the person that you want to be. So you started with, I am so happy and grateful now that I am generating 6 figures a month. I have an amazing team, amazing marketing team, amazing sales team. I travel to wherever you want to travel. I drive this type of car. I make this amount of money. I smell like this. People feel my energy. And then you go into specific details. You record it and you listen to it at least 4 times every single day. If you do that, even for 2 months, you are going to be absolutely amazed at the results, because you're listening to yourself say something to yourself as if it's already happened. And I've seen this work wonders in my life. 3 years ago, I was absolutely broke. I was unhappy. I was miserable. I was always stressed, right? I wrote out a self-image script. I live in a beautiful 4-bedroom home with my new partner. It's spacious. I drive this type of car. Everything I wrote in that self-image script, I am living today. It works like wonders, because we're doing what an actor does. Let's say a famous actor, is it in Bollywood? Yeah. When a famous actor in Bollywood gets a script, it's just a script. It's just sheets of paper with writing on it. And what they do is they read the script, they reread it, they memorize it, they internalize it, and then they become it. Well, we can do the same thing with our lives. Become the star of your movie. Don't care what any other people think. It's up to them what they want to think. You create your own movie. You can really do that. Do what an actor does. Write out exactly the way that you want to live, record it, and listen to it over and over and over and over and over again. You will be absolutely amazed at what that will do, not just for you, but for your family, for everyone around you. It's a very, very powerful tool.
Absolutely. Joel, one last question is, people talk about a lot of things. You also talk about subconscious mind. Then you talk about law of vibration, law of attraction, and then cause and effect. There are so many laws of the universe. One doesn't know who to attract first. Who does which law does listen to the subconscious mind better?
I mean, they're all as important as each other. You know, we have law of gravity, right? That could be, I don't know. I mean, I call it God, but something bigger than me and you created that law. It doesn't matter if you're black, you're white, you're yellow, or you're blue. I mean, you jump off the top of a building, you're gonna fall down, right? So, the one that controls your subconscious mind is the law of vibration. Okay, because your subconscious mind is your feeling mind. So our conscious mind is our thinking mind. Our subconscious mind is our feeling mind. Feeling is just a word that we made up to describe conscious awareness of vibration. So if you ask someone, hey, AJ, how are you today? And you say, oh, Joel, I'm not feeling too good. What you're really saying when you say not feeling too good is you're on a not feeling too good vibration. If I ask you how you are and you say, I'm feeling amazing, what you're really saying is you're on an amazing vibration. And whilst you're on an amazing vibration, all you can attract to you is amazing things. So your subconscious mind is in control of your vibration, and your vibration is in control of what you attract. So to change the subconscious mind, we've got to alter the vibration. And we do that through repetition of the same idea over and over and over again. You know, I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is write down 10 things I'm grateful for. Why? Because I want to feel good. In other words, I want to be on a good vibration. So instead of waking up thinking about your problems, you wake up, you grab a pen, and you write down 10 things you're grateful for. It could be water, you had a nice sleep, your children, your family, the fact that you've got legs to get out of bed today. This puts you in a phenomenal vibration. Phenomenal vibration. Gratitude is everything. Sometimes we get caught up in I want more, I want more. But if you're just grateful for what you've got, then God will absolutely bless you with more. I genuinely believe I am so blessed with my life because I am so grateful for it. I'm always saying thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And if you're watching this, write this down. Thank you is the vibration of completion. Thank you is the vibration of completion. If you've got a goal and you can sincerely thank the universe or God for it, you are implying that you already have it. Thank you. It's a beautiful vibration. I just walk around all day just saying thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Puts you in a phenomenal vibration. And when you're feeling good, when you're feeling amazing, you're going to attract more amazing things because we're magnets. We attract amazing things. Like I've attracted, these questions that you've been asking me. It's an incredible podcast. It's amazing.
Wonderful, wonderful. There's so much to learn about all this from you, Joel, and I'm sure a lot of people would want to connect with you, learn more from you, about the things that you do, and also perhaps be your client. What's the best way for them to do so?
So I would recommend my YouTube channel if someone wants to, go more deeper. And also in January, I am running a free 5-day workshop. It's called the Magnetic Business Launchpad. And we're gonna dive into this. It's gonna be 5 days where you're gonna be, spending time with me. And I'm going to show you exactly how to start attracting more cash flow and more clients, not just in the future, but I'm going to help you see results in your income within these 5 days as well. Because we have the workbook, and I've got success advisors that are going to be reaching out and making sure that you're actually taking action on the information that I'm going to be sharing. Because if we don't take action on it, I mean, nothing's going to happen, right? So it's called the Magnetic Business Launchpad. I'm sure I can share the link with you, AJ. I've got my YouTube channel. And in terms of thinking into results, this is the 6-month mentorship that I take people through. So it's designed by my mentors, Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher. And then it's facilitated by me. This is a 6-month process. It's not for everyone. It's specifically for leaders and people that know there's more out there for them and are actually willing to listen to me instructions. You know, I'm in an amazing position where it's not about the money for me anymore. I want to help people get results. So yeah, if someone's not willing to do what I tell them to do, I'm not willing to work with them anymore. I've learned my lessons. But if you did want to book a one-to-one call to see if thinking into results is the right fit for you, I'm sure I can send AJ the link as well, and we can put it wherever this podcast is going.
Wonderful. With this, it's set up on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.